Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome.
Now tuning into the Allison Denise Podcast.
Allison Denise, A-D-A-D, the petite powerhouse, A-D, always 100. You can like it or not. She don't mind pushing buttons all up in your hot spots. Crock pot cooking, damn. And she good looking, hold up, brains and beauty, raising awareness, certified therapist, but much better prepared with it. Check her portfolio, it's accredited. Like, subscribe, follow, share it. Roll out the red carpet for the queen, and welcome to the show. Peace and blessings. Allison Denise, A-D-A-D.
Peace and blessings, everybody. Peace and blessings. This is the Petite Powerhouse and Relationship Coach, Allison Denise, and you are tuned into a end of year special with me. Welcome. I hope everyone's having a wonderful pre-New Year's Eve evening. Again, I'm Allison Denise. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with me. Shout out to those of you on the East Coast who asked me to come on an hour earlier. I hope this helps a lot. Instead of waiting until 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock yours. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. All right, so what we want to do, this is just a special edition of the Allison Denise Podcast where I just wanted us to collectively come together. I know a lot of you will have different plans and different things that you want to do tomorrow, hopefully virtually, but I know some of y'all, it is what it is. So before we start to count down the ball and whatever else it is that we're going to do, I thought that we could take tonight to reflect together and come up with a way to walk into 2021, taking the lessons from this year and using them for good, using them in a positive way, and not coming from a place of fear, bitterness, or anything like that. Okay? So that is what the purpose of tonight's show is. If you think that this will be something that will help others, please feel free to go ahead and share to your pages, to your different groups. Shout out to all of you who will end up watching or are currently watching on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. You are truly appreciated. Okay. All right. Let's get some comments out of the way. Oh, we got Mario J in the house again. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to Amanda. I appreciate you tuning in too, lady. Mario says, share. I truly appreciate that support. And what's up, Dre? Happy New Year, my friend. All right, so let us just go ahead and get into it. So if there's anything that you guys want to share, you can please feel free to add your comments. And like I do on every episode, I will share most of them live and we will discuss it and all that good stuff. Okay. If you are someone who likes to take lists, I am a list maker. I have journals on top of journals. I won't bother showing one right now. If you are one who likes to take lists, if you are someone who thinks that you may want to write down some of the things that I talk about tonight, I do have it in numerical format. So please feel free to grab your journal, your notebook, a piece of paper, a notebook, whatever, envelope, whatever you need, so that you can take this into the new year and think back on it after the broadcast has ended. Okay. And we have El Kenny. Thank you so much, ma'am, for tuning in. Happy New Year to you too. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So 2020 has been a beast. I think that's the easiest way I can say that. 2020 has just been a beast all the way around, whether it's been a beast in a positive direction for some of us or a beast in the negative direction for some of us. It has definitely not been something that any of us would have ever been able to predict or plan for in our lifetime. And we have seen a lot. We've seen a lot of things that have hopefully been beneficial. We've seen a lot that has really opened our eyes to the humanity of people. And we've just basically, this has been the year where we've just had to dig in our heels and just hold on. So when you've gone through something like this, it's very easy to decide that you want that to change your perception of whatever goals you may have had, whatever way you thought life would go. It can be very easy to say, okay, since this was unplanned, well, what is next year going to be like? It can be very easy to walk into a level of fear, a level of bitterness, a level of, well, I'm tired of this not happening for me, or that not happening for me. And I want us to go through this list so that we can gain some perspective on what has happened. Use this information to fit your individual situation and tweak it so that it can work best for you. But the goal that I have is to get off of this tonight with everyone having at least a more profound and big picture perspective of how they should walk into the new year in the way that's best for them. Okay? All right, so we are going to go ahead, and I'm going to start off first with the obvious. We got to take a minute and honor those who did not make it out of this year. All the way from, I believe, the very first, I'm not going to say the first because I didn't research it, but from our brother Kobe and his daughter passing away all the way until now. I think we've had some more deaths, and I'm not just talking about celebrities. I think that's the first one where everything just kind of kicked off. But since that time, I know that there are a lot of people on my friends list who have lost multiple relatives, multiple friends, a lot because of COVID, a lot not because of COVID, but just exacerbated because of the fact that there was so much other death going on because of this virus and this pandemic. So I think it would be fitting to offer condolences to everybody who has lost anybody this year for whatever reason. It's been difficult. It's been hard. I know that we have lost some icons. We have lost some legends. We have lost some people that we looked up to. We have lost some people that were reminders of our own childhood. We have almost lost people as a result of COVID and things like that. I personally have had now 24 friends that I know personally that I can pick up the phone and call who have battled this virus, and thankfully they have made it. And to my knowledge, if they have any long-term effects, they are minimal. They're still maybe dealing with a little bit of exhaustion or maybe a lingering cough. But this has just been something that none of us, we've only read about it. And so I want to offer condolences to everybody. There are certain things that I'm going to talk about tonight that even at their best will not bring your loved one back. And I want to make sure you know that I'm aware of that. And we are still praying for you guys. We are still hoping that at some point, as someone who has lost people close to me, the pain, I can't tell you that the pain will go away. I can only tell you my experience is that you learn to live with it and it does become manageable. But for now, please grieve. Please feel how you feel. Please don't let anybody try to tell you to be strong. Please don't try to let anyone tell you the way that you're supposed to miss this person. Please take the time to grieve. That is the best way to get through this. Okay? Let me see what comments we have. What's up, Marcus? Peace and blessings to you too. Lamantri, praying hands, and Amanda. Yes, absolutely. So I wanted to get that. I wanted to say that first. I thought about saying it at the end, and I was like, don't end on that note. Go ahead and get that out of the way first so people know that you're aware that some things can't be replaced. All right, so moving into the next step before we get into this list, we have to do a time of gratitude, thank yous, and salutes as well. Not just to the doctors, not just to the nurses, not just to the people that have been on the front lines in terms of media. We 100% appreciate every doctor, every nurse, every CNA, every traveling nurse, everybody who was taking the onus on themselves to put themselves basically in harm's way with this virus just to make sure those of us who don't know medicine and can't take care of ourselves have been able to still receive some quality care. We have got to say thank you to those people, even though we are in our homes and we're frustrated and a lot of us are ready for this to be over and we're ready to get out. They didn't get a chance to take a break, and they didn't get a chance to stay home with their families, and they didn't get a chance to just sit back and chill and get to a point that they got cabin fever. They haven't had that chance. And so I want to make sure we salute those, because I know that I personally have some of those people who watch, and I personally have some of those people that support and view. And I want to make sure you know how appreciated you are. I don't want to stop there. I want to salute everybody who couldn't stay home. I want to salute everybody who worked anywhere from fast food to groceries to the gas station to travel agents to pilots and flight attendants, just whoever has not been able to stay home, because those of us who had the good fortune to stay home still needed to get groceries, still needed to get our medicine, still needed to get gas. Those of us who were able to stay home, I want to thank those who couldn't, because I know a lot of you don't get it. I know a lot of you don't get thanks. I know a lot of you don't get the appreciation that you deserve. UPS drivers, Amazon drivers, those of you who did Uber Eats because you could have decided not to do it, those of you who continue to do Uber and Lyft because you didn't have to do it, those of you who were working for the city, whether it be or working for the government, whether it be postal collectors or trash collectors or recycling whoever you are, we want to say thank you, because if it were not for you, us having to stay home could have still been a much less enjoyable experience. And it's because you guys chose to keep doing it. Power, gas, whatever. Just thank you. Please know, despite all the people who may have complained, who got insensitive, who showed lack of empathy, all of that, please know that there are people who do appreciate what you did. Okay? Let me see what we have here. What's up, Divine? Good to see you, lady. And yes, gratitude. Absolutely. Okay, so I want to make sure that we started off with that, because after what I saw today, and those of you who are on my personal page, after what I saw today at Walmart, I just want to make sure that people know there are a lot of people who would rather be home than dealing with some of the insensitive, immature jackasses that they have to deal with each day, on top of fighting this pandemic and doing what they need to do to not catch it and not bring it to their family. So it's just time for us to let those people know that they're appreciated. All right, so let's go ahead and move forward. What's up, Tasha? So moving forward, what I want to do is 2 sets of lists. The first list I want to talk about is just a general overview to get our perspective to change, to get, not necessarily change, that's the wrong word, to get our perspective to expand beyond what it is that we may be focusing on and beyond what it is that we may be talking about on a daily basis, whether it be with other people, when we're by ourselves. And when I say talking, it could be thinking, it could be whatever you're focusing on social media, whatever it is you're focusing on when you read the news, whatever it is that you're focusing on with the types of groups that you find yourself navigating to. Let's go ahead and expand that perspective, okay? So the first thing that I want you to do is sit back and think, what do I still have and what did I gain? Now, I'm not naive. There are going to be some people who have just lost way more than they can think about gaining. And at some point in your healing journey, maybe this video will come back around and you'll be able to think back on this question with new eyes. But for everyone else, I want you to think about what you still have. I know a lot of us lost jobs. I know a lot of us lost businesses. I know a lot of us lost clients. I personally had every speaking engagement that I had planned for this year canceled. Every speaking engagement. Some were unpaid, but quite a few were paid. So I personally had, but what do we still have? What do you still have? Even with the eviction moratorium that's going on, are you still able to watch? If you're watching right now, even if it's not in the place that you were in the beginning of the year, do you still have a roof over your head? Not necessarily the roof you want, but you're not in a shelter. What do you still have? So the example that I can give is I'm grateful that I'm still in the place that I was in the beginning of the year. I'm grateful that I'm still able to live here. I'm grateful that my son is here. I'm grateful that despite the fact that I'm the only adult here, so I'm the one who has to go out and do the grocery shopping the times that I can't get the delivery to come up at the same time, or the times that the food is delivered, but they forget something and I have to go get it. I'm grateful that the times that I had to work and the times that I have had to leave the home, that I haven't caught COVID and that I haven't brought it to him. At least I don't think. There's a chance I had it, but I'll never know. If I did, it was back in March. So what do you still have? What did you gain? Now, for some people, this might be easier. They gained a job. They gained a certification. They got a raise. They got a bonus. They got a promotion. Their business took off. They created a brand, whatever. Some of us have gained new things. I know specifically for me, one of the things that I gained was a completely different network that I didn't expect, the people to help me further my brand. Someone to do my website. Shout out to Carlos Wallace and Yolan Young for even connecting us. Someone to do my logo, and someone who is now doing my rebranded logo. I have an assistant, y'all. After all these years of affirmations and whatever, I have an assistant, and it's an assistant that I love. It's an assistant that I trust, and it's an assistant who understands the way that I work and my need for quality and for it to just be right. It's a great thing. Some of the things that I have been doing behind the scenes to get things off the ground, a lot of the seeds that I've planted over the past couple of years, they're actually starting to bear fruit. And so there are some things that I've seen that I've gained, that I've seen come into fruition, that I've seen progress. And so I remind myself of that, because there are other things that, of course, aren't the way that I thought they would be, just like they are for you. Okay, so think about, what do you still have and what did you gain? Kenny says, say that, always enough gratitude to go around. Absolutely. And Amanda says, amen. I need that reminder lately. I understand. I think we all do. Okay. Now, the second thing I want you to think about, what did I lose, but was it really a loss? Was it really a loss? And that may be the bigger thing that I want us to think about. And I'm not talking about those of you who have lost people. That was 100,000% a true loss. And it was irreplaceable. That's not what I'm referring to. What have you lost? And was it really a loss? Okay, you may have, some people may have lost their job. I know mine shut down. But what did you gain? I know you lost. I know that there may have been a chance that maybe you were in the middle of rebuilding savings or starting savings or whatever. I know that you had plans that came to an abrupt halt, like it did for a lot of the world. In that, though, is there anything that you've learned? Is there anything that time away from work gave you the opportunity to do instead? Did you get to do something that you didn't think you would have time to do because you had been so busy working for money and working for bills? And when you finally had to sit down because there was nowhere for you to go, did you get a chance to write some things out, to plan some things out, to dream a little bit? Did you get a chance to just sit the hell down because you were so focused on bills, bills, bills? I got to pay bills. I got to pay bills. And you didn't realize that you were stressing yourself out. You didn't realize that you were making yourself anxious, and you didn't realize you were dealing with depression. Is there any chance you sitting down forced you to look at you and finally see you and finally take care of you? Because you're irreplaceable too. Did that happen? Maybe you lost a relationship. Did you really lose it? Or was it already gone and this was the year that you finally just said, you know what? I'm wasting my time. It's not going anywhere, and I'm the only one fighting for it. Did you have that situation happen? I know that there are at least three. There's 3 couples I know who were supposed to be married this year that unfortunately had to postpone. And I know some people may say, well, they didn't have to postpone. They could have decided to do it virtually. They could have decided this. Yeah, but that's their wedding day. They know how the hell they want to spend their wedding day, and that wasn't it. Or they would have done it. So they're not having to wait another year, and there's no way that's not disappointing. But did it make their relationship stronger? Did they get a chance to learn how to handle for better or for worse before they got to say I do? Just think about the things that we have said. Well, I wish I could have done this, and I didn't get to do that, and I didn't get to go here, and I didn't get to go there. That may all be true. But is there any chance that something else in its place happened that you really haven't sat down and thought about? Okay? All right, let's move on to number 3. How much of what you dealt with, how much of the life happening was in your control? This is very important. The reason this is important is because it's not your fault that your job shut down. It's not your fault that your business was told to shut down, and as a result, you were never able to reopen because of the loss of revenue. That's not your fault. Looking on the other side, is there a chance that maybe you wouldn't have had to rely on unemployment as much if you had spent more time saving from your paycheck, or maybe getting a second job that you didn't really want to get because you wanted to be able to stay home? Is there a chance that you could have saved up more money? Now, that question isn't to put you down. That question is to allow you to see that the things that we can control, while it may upset us to know that something that hurt us was something we could control, the beautiful realization when you can admit that is that you can fix it. It's not the same thing as your job. You can't fix your job shutting down. You can't go back and say, okay, what will it take to open the job back up and write a check? You can't control that. But the things that you can control, that's a better use of your energy, a better use of your time, and it keeps you thinking positively instead of looking backwards with regret. So really be honest. How much of what you dealt with was in your control? Don't go down the path of condemnation, but also don't go down the path of playing victim. Find a balance and be honest. Okay? Now, once you get to the place that you are willing to answer those questions thoughtfully in a self-reflective way so that you can move forward, let's get into some lessons. I have 7 that you can start to work with as you begin to plan out next year. Okay? Lesson 1. Health is all we have. Protect it. It's all we got, y'all. It's all we got. There are people who are millionaires that cannot write a check big enough to get rid of an ailment or an illness that they have. Health is all we have. Now, I'll add to it because of me. I'm also very big on integrity and your word. So in my world, my health and my word is all I have. Everybody else may not think like that, but health is really all we've got. And I'm not just talking about physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health. That's all we got. All we got is us. It doesn't matter what is given to us. It doesn't matter what is offered to us. It doesn't matter what we manifest. It doesn't matter what blessings come after we've prayed. It doesn't matter what prayers have been answered. If we are not in a place to both receive them and walk them out, it's just a source of frustration at that point. Can you imagine a business, finally being built, finally seeing the fruition of it, but you worked so hard and slept so little that by the time you're able to generate revenue and profit, now the profit is just going to the doctor bill or prescription or the in-home nurse? Health is all we got. Protect it, protect it, protect it. Get your mental health on track. There's nothing wrong with you if you have mental health issues. There is nothing wrong with needing to take a minute to speak to a therapist, to talk to a counselor, to get a coaching session. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Emotional health, I can't be more clear than I already have been. You got to get those emotions in check. Take the time to cry that you need. Take the time to be angry that you need. Take the time to feel every emotion instead of thinking the lie that if you're not always positive, you're not really positive. That's bull. I wish I had gotten a link. I saw someone put up a post about toxic positivity, and that is a thing. Make sure your emotions are balanced. Make sure when you're mad, you can say you're mad. Make sure when you're sad, you can say you're sad. Make sure you're not trying to put yourself in some box that says, I've got to be perfectly happy all the time, because that's not realistic. Or something that you can do long term. Okay? So health is all we have. Protect it. I don't care if you just do 20 jumping jacks a day. Get started on that cardio. I don't care if you only do 5 push-ups. Get started on your core. Get started on your toning. If you are dealing with a situation that you keep pushing down and all you're doing is sitting at home anyway, get in your closet and cry. Cry that stuff out. Crying is healing. Those tears are releasing emotions that are being bottled up. And that's the way that you want them to come out, because emotions come out regardless. But if you decide to just sit and cry or sit and yell or throw something for a little bit, you're releasing the emotions so that they aren't in control of when they come out. Make sure you are focused on your health, even in the midst of this. Make sure you're doing something for every part of your body, your mind, your spirit, your emotions, to get you one step closer to being healthy and being balanced, okay? What's up, Bert? Bert says facts. All facets of health is all we have. What's up, Jacquinetta? Good to see you, lady. Okay, so that is lesson 1. All right, let's go to lesson 2. Y'all, we need cash. We need cash. I know for a little bit, we had some moments where there were not banks, but there were stores who weren't taking cash for obvious reasons. I understand that. But even if you don't take cash into stores or anything like that, you still need the cash to be able to throw in the bank if you need it. Y'all, if we haven't learned anything else this year, we have got to have an emergency fund. You have got to have an emergency fund. You have got to have an emergency fund. And I know that it may be hard to put money to the side when you have bills that are already due. And now in this case, you got bills that are already behind. And I can't tell you how to handle your money. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you how to do that. What I can say is, even when money got tight and low and I wasn't sure how to pay anything, one of the things I am thankful for is, before all of that stuff happened, I had already been in the practice of listening to motivational messages on YouTube on the way to work or on the way to grocery shopping or whatever. I was already listening to motivational messages. I was already listening to alux.com. I was already listening to audiobooks on finances like The Millionaire Next Door, stuff like that. My mind was already going, and I was already listening to how the people who weren't as affected by the pandemic as me and others that I know, what is it that they do differently? And so even with the little bit of unemployment that I was receiving, I wasn't saving a lot. I might have been saving $5 here, $20 there, $15, $30 on a good week. It wasn't a lot, but the thing is, it adds up. And it was more important to me that I resumed the habit of saving. I was at that point of saving regularly before the pandemic hit. I fell off like a lot of other people did, thinking that I needed to hold on to everything that I had. But when I resumed the habit, that is what I want to make sure I walk into 2021 with, because money is not going to be an issue. Things are going to change. Everything is going to come full circle. And I know that the areas of my life that I've been working the hardest in, so that I could be prepared, making the changes in me that I need to make, I want to make sure that I'm ready for it. And one of the best ways for me to be ready for it is to go ahead, even in my small way, go ahead and learn how to handle money the way millionaires handle it, so that I can put myself on track to have the same thing. And one of the things that they did was always pay themselves first. And I wasn't able to pay myself 10 or 20% or 30% and put 10% in the stock market or whatever. Haven't been able to do that yet, but the habit is now there. Now it's just a matter of me focusing on continuing the habit when all of the money does start to come in. So, y'all, we need cash. We need cash. We need cash. Any way that you have to do it, that's legal and moral, all that good stuff, start putting cash away. Even y'all, if it's just $5, I know that you probably hear a lot of people say that and you're like, yeah, people just saying that to make us feel better. $5 will add up. If you continue to do it, $5 will add up. But we have got to have cash. We have already seen what happens and how the government, at least in the U.S., we've seen how the government cares about us as the citizens. So let's get to a place where we're taking care of ourselves and just start putting that money away. Start putting that $5 away. Just do it. Okay? Divine says, real talk. Thank you. I appreciate it. Peace and blessings, Hassan. Good to see you. All right. So that is going to be lesson 2. All right. So let's move on to lesson 3. Lesson 3 for all my parents out there dealing with this nonsense between, we're going to go in the building. Nope, no, we're not. We're going to go virtual. Well, hold on. We're going to go in the building for 2 days and then we're going to be virtual for 2 days. Nope, we just going to go all virtual. Nope, we're going to go half virtual and half. I want you to hear me when I say this because I know it has been hell for people who were not planning to homeschool children, didn't have a schedule that allowed you to have the time to homeschool children, and you still had to figure it out anyway. As someone who has been homeschooling her son for 4 years now, it's still not easy for me. But it's getting done, and it will happen for you too. Your kids will be fine. I promise you, they are going to be okay. They are going to get past this. Whatever it is that you feel like they haven't learned, they will either learn it again another way, or the path that their lives are meant for, they won't even need that information either. In any case, whatever they are deficient in, it is going to come back around and the proficiency will replace that. Anything that they don't learn at all and it never comes back around is something they didn't need to begin with. You have kids who are, let's just say they're middle school age or maybe the beginning of high school, and now you're afraid about college. Relax. Even if they have to be someone who takes a remedial class, please remember something. Your child was not the only one who dealt with this virtual learning in the country. So even if they end up in a remedial class, you know who they're going to be in the class with? Other kids like them who had to go through the same virtual stuff during the same part of this pandemic at the same time. So relax. You're not failing them. They're not going to be failures because we're not going to speak that over our children. Our children are still meant to be here. They are still here for a purpose. They are still here to reach their goals. They are still here to reach the people that they've been created to reach. And all of this, even though it wasn't something we were ready for, it was already in their plan. It's already been worked out, and they are going to be fine. And they still have you as parents, so they don't have a choice but to be successful. Okay? Don't stress. Don't walk around thinking that you're a failure. Don't walk around thinking that you're somehow a less effective parent because you don't remember 5th grade math or 8th grade algebra. Don't kill all that shit. You are a wonderful parent. You are raising wonderful kids. And whatever it is that they need, it's going to come back around. God's going to bring it right back around for them to learn it. Your babies are fine. Love them. Do what you can. And trust everything else to work itself out in the appointed time. Okay? All right. Amanda says, thank you. You are welcome. Okay? All right, so now let's go to lesson 4. Give yourself credit. Whether you have kids or not, please give yourself credit. I want you to understand that the last time, unless you include, we don't even have to include that because it didn't reach these didn't reach the proportions that this did. The last time we had something of this type of magnitude was 200 years ago. No, 100. I don't know why I said 2. It was 100 years ago. Please keep that in mind. 100 years ago was the last time we had something like this. How were you going to prepare for something like this when it was never even known that it was a thing that could happen? How? Whether you have kids or whether you are currently watching this sitting in your house by yourself due to empty nesters or being single or not having, whatever it is, would you stop for 1 minute and give yourself credit for the fact that somehow you managed to navigate through all this? You learned how to go to a store with a mask. You learned how to live with sanitizing your hands every time you touch stuff. You lived with being able to figure out how to keep your lights on and keep groceries coming. We are so fortunate that we even had Wi-Fi, that we even had the internet. We were able to start ordering our groceries, y'all. And some of us were already doing it before the pandemic, and I understand that. But I really want you to understand, you figured out how to have groceries sent to your house. You figured out how to use Zoom. Because a lot of you don't like computers and don't want to be on them long. And you are now as proficient in Zoom as some of your kids are with video games. You learned something. You got better at something. You were able to start teaching other people something. Like, I want you to understand how huge this is. You didn't go into a corner and fall apart. You didn't get to the place where you just said, I'm just going to jump off of a building because I can't take it anymore. You are still here. You've made it. We got 2 more days. We just got 2. Well, a day and a half at this point. We got a day and a half. That's all we got. And this year is done. And I know that doesn't mean that at 12:01 on Friday that all of this is going to go away. We know that. But understand, you got through one of the hardest years that the world has ever seen. You did it. Stop thinking about what you should have done, what you didn't do, what you could have done, what you couldn't have done. Don't think about what you would have liked to have done differently. Don't think about what degree you wish you had gotten instead. Well, I wish I had done IT because then I could have stayed home and still made a lot of... That doesn't matter. Don't worry about all that. Your time and whatever is meant for you is meant for you. This pandemic didn't change a damn thing. It's still meant for you. So give yourself credit for the fact that you have outlasted this thing. Even if you ended up with the virus, if you bounced back through this time, and you bounced back through the virus that you personally had to go through. Y'all are amazing and don't even know it. You're amazing and you don't even know it. Please give yourself more credit. Do not walk into 2021 looking at yourself as nothing but a mistake and only seeing your value through the mistakes that you made or the things you wish you had done differently, because you took the hand that you were dealt and you worked that shit. And I'm proud of you. Okay? Let's go on to lesson 5. Love is worth fighting for. Loneliness isn't. Y'all know I had to go here, right? Love is absolutely worth fighting for. Loneliness isn't. Now, I don't want to scare some people. When I say love is worth fighting for, I'm not just talking about romantic love, and I'm not talking about you being in love with someone that you're with. That's not what I mean. And if you're at that place, that's good. That's beautiful. Love is beautiful. Real love. Not this fake crap people keep trying to show us. Okay? Real love is beautiful. If you have that, enjoy it. I've seen people get engaged in the middle of this pandemic. That's beautiful. Okay? But please understand, if you are spending any energy towards any type of relationship, friendship, dating, business, whatever, please understand and know your motive, know your intentions, know your why. And if you get honest with yourself and realize that the only reason, for example, that you may be fighting for another person to see you, to give you a chance or anything like that, if your motive is that you're lonely or that you just want to prove a point or that you have an ego that you want stroked, if your motive is anything other than I really like the energy that this person brings me and I want to experience more of it and I'm willing to walk with them to have them experience more of mine. If your motive is anything other than a mutual desire to spend more time with that person, you're wasting your time. If the motive is I just want to prove a point, sit down. If the motive is that you're lonely, sit down. If the motive is that you're horny, sit all the way down. All the way down. Let me say that a second time. All the way down. Please understand, if you have not done anything this year, even if you haven't done it at all this year, you got a day and so in a few hours. Please sit down and learn the difference between love and loneliness. Make sure that the people you have in your life are a reflection of you understanding love. And if you realize that the people that are in your life are a reflection of you being in a place of loneliness, get out of that place of loneliness first and then see if they still belong there. Okay? Let me see what comments we have here. Tasha says, I do hope you were taking all of y'all. I have written all of this down. All of it. I wrote it all down. Divine says, I have learned to become my own best friend. Absolutely. I love that. Okay. Now let's go to lesson 6. Whatever it is that you did, you made the right decision. Even if you realize that you made the wrong decision, you have made the right decision by realizing that you made the wrong decision. Allison, you're just trying to make everything positive. You're damn right, because this has not been a positive year. It hasn't. So damn it, I'm going to make it a positive year. You made the right decision. Listen, something that I learned, and it's been years, I think it's been 6 or 7 years ago, there was a video that Ayanla Van Zandt, I call her Auntie Ayanla, but there's a video that she put out. Can't remember the title. If I come to it, I'll add it into the comments so everybody can watch it too. But she said something very key. She was talking about relationships at the time. She said, the decisions that you make are based off of who you are, the experiences that you have, and the information that you had at that time. That's why it's a waste of time to regret, because you're looking backward with new information. Regret is nothing more than saying, I wish I had this information now then. And that's cool, but you didn't. So if you didn't have that information then, how would you have made a better decision? So instead of looking at that with regret, what we could be doing is saying, I'm so glad I know that now because I won't do what I did then now. That's a good thing. So please understand, at whatever emotional state you were, with whatever knowledge you had, with whatever wounds, triggers, frustrations, level of patience or impatience, fear, anxiety, depression, sadness, emotional eating, emotional spending, whatever it was, you made the decision that you felt was best at that time. Stop beating yourself up. And if you have gotten out of the fog of depression or loneliness or isolation or whatever, if you have done that, then know that you have now made another right decision. And that decision is going to lead you towards more of what you want and less of what you don't. We can't lose, y'all. It's us who feels like we're losing, but we can't lose. If you remain open to listening, to communication, to self-reflection, to accountability. If you remain open to all of those things, you can't lose. You may wish that you had had more wisdom so that maybe things with another person or another job or business idea had worked out. But understand, the good news is that you know now what you missed, so you don't have to look back with regret. Now you can't say, you don't have to look back and say, I was so stupid and why didn't I do it? Now you can look back and say, oh, okay, well, if I was in that situation, I know that this would have worked now. So if I'm ever in that situation again, I know what to do. Like, that's a good thing. It means you don't have to repeat the past, right? So know that you made the right decision with whatever and whoever you were at that time. Oh, hold on. Some of y'all just came back in. I've learned to become, okay, that's where our last was. What's up, Gregorio? Yes, love is worth the fight because it took me a long time to realize what real love is. Absolutely. I understand. Peace and blessings. Nia, good to see you, sis. Love, lust, and loneliness. Yes, ma'am. Divine says, right. All lessons. What's up, Tate? Bad Squad in the house. Divine says, learning and forgiving. We are never too grown to grow. I like that. We are never too grown to grow. Girl, you need to make that a t-shirt. I'll buy it. Tate says a 45-year-old me would kick the hell out of the 21-year-old me. Straight punk. Well, you know me, Tate. I'd kick the crap out of both of you. Let me stop. What's up, Cornell? Peace and blessings to you. Nia says, there is no loss, just lessons. Yes. And Divine says, yeah, you're still breathing, so there's always another chance. I live by that same motto too, sis. That's real good. All right, so let's get to this final lesson. So the final lesson, I know a lot of us, me included, and if you listened to the podcast yesterday, you might have heard me allude to this. So what's today? Wednesday? So Monday. Monday, I spent the better part of 8 hours getting my long-term goals, short-term goals, planning. I spent the better part of 8 hours on Monday getting all of that together. I know that sounds like a lot of time, but it was worth it to me. And I wanted to make sure that when I turned on to, a new calendar, a new year, that I had things in place. I don't want to just say, I want to do this. I wanted to have in place the steps that I was going to go ahead and take to get there so that I could constantly be working towards that goal instead of just looking at the goal. So with that being said, those of you who are planning, those of you who got a planner, those of you who are vision boarding, those of you who are writing a list in your phone, those of you who are doing any of these things that say, I want 2021 to be a better year. I want you to plan to succeed. Don't plan just to plan. Well, what do you mean? What I mean is a lot of times we will get caught up in talking about what we're going to do. We like to sit around on our Zoom calls or our group chats, and we want to talk about what we're planning to do. And we like the feeling of saying that we have plans, and we like the way people respond to us when we say we have a plan. We like how that feels, but we never get beyond it. We never reach the goal. We lose steam. We allow life to throw us off track, and sometimes life will throw you off track because some things are not always in your control, but a lot of stuff is that we say isn't. So if you are planning, if you're a planner, if you have a notebook, a cheat sheet, a to-do list, whatever it is, don't just put the list, put how you're going to get there. Let's say some of you say that your goal is to write a book. Don't just put write a book. You'll never write the damn book. Put that you're going to write a book as a long-term by 2020 or by 2021 or maybe by June of 2020, whatever. Put an actual end date. I will write a book by this date. Now, back it up and determine how much you're going to write per month, and then back it up and write down how much you're going to write per week, and then back that up and put how much you plan to write per day. If you just look at write a book, especially if you come home one day and it doesn't feel like the day went right, it didn't feel like you could do anything right, it felt like everything that could go wrong did, if you're in the middle of a breakup or if you're in the middle of a fight with a friend or whatever, if you just look at that goal and it says write a book, that's going to seem so overwhelming, especially when you're already coming from a place of feeling defeated. But if you can go to that same goal and you can see write 2 pages a day, you can get up and write 2 pages a day. That's a CD if you write slow. If you don't write slow, that might be 2-3 songs. You could put on 2 or 3 of your favorite songs, and by the time 2 or 3 of your favorite songs are done, you've written your 2 pages for that day. So at the very least, even if the whole day went wrong, you can at least say, I accomplished one thing. So break down your goals so that they don't seem overwhelming and so they're not so vague. A big one is working out. Gyms make the most of their money in January and they lose most of their customers by February. Don't just put, I want to go to the gym. Don't just put, I want to lose 20 pounds. Back it up. I want to go to the gym 3 times a week. Now look at your schedule for that week. What 3 days do you realistically have the most time? Those are now the 3 days that you're going to work out, whether you go to the gym or whether you stay at home or whether you go to a personal trainer. Excuse me. Write that down. I will work out 3 days a week. Now you can have the days per week that you plan to work out. Now you can determine how much time will I have to work out. So now you can say, I will work out 30 minutes a day for 3 days a week. Then when you get started, it doesn't feel like it's never going to end. All you got to do is set your timer, turn on some music if you want, and in 30 minutes before you know it, you're done and you've been able to check that off the list. Don't say that you want to get out of debt. Back it up. Do you even know how much you owe? Do you know how many creditors you owe? Have you listed them from smallest to largest so it won't seem so overwhelming? Find out how much you owe. Then you can change that goal. Don't say I'm going to get out of debt. Let's say you owe $50,000. So now you can say, I will pay off $10,000 of debt by the end of 2021. Okay, $10,000. That's a number. That's measurable. Look up SMART goals and you'll know what I mean when I say that. Now, break that $10,000 out by how much you bring in per month, either through a job, self-employed, a consultant, contracting, whatever. Break that out. What does that look like per month? Then you'll find out very quickly, can I do that per month or will I need to either extend the goal or go get another job? Then each month you can say, I put this away. Some of you may need to go backwards and say, I'm going to pay this per week. See if you can do that. Now you're putting yourself in place where every month you're focusing on the small goals that get you to the end goal instead of just looking at the end goal every day and feeling more and more behind. Does that make sense? All right, let's see here. Tate says, shut up, Tate. Nia says, always good to catch your live, sis. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Divine says, I have learned to invest in myself more. That's beautiful. I am launching my business, Life Purpose Coach. I'm so grateful and I'm so happy for you. That's exciting. Congratulations. Let's see here. Dr. Kevin Richardson, thank you so much for tuning in. You must heal your past in order to see. Oh, I like the way you said that. Hold on. You must hear your past in order to see your future. Man, y'all coming up with some great t-shirts. I'm just saying, I'll buy them when y'all make them. Divine says, goal and a plan indeed. Yes. Dwayne, thank you so much for tuning in. Some people procrastinate, absolutely. And it's been my experience. A lot of people procrastinate either because they have come up with too many goals at one time and they feel overwhelmed, or they tend to put goals that they think they should have because they're an adult or the rest of their family has them, but it's really not something they have a passion for, so they never get started because deep down they don't really want to do it anyway. And then there are people who procrastinate because they make their goals too vague and they seem so big that they don't know where to start. And if they just back it up and just chunk it down into smaller pieces, they'll find that it actually is something that's attainable. Divine says, discipline and consistency kicked my ass. I feel you. Yes, a big one, working out. That is my next goal, to work out 4 times a week, walking and dancing. That's pretty cool. Gregorio says, I agree. My success is right on course because I planned that course to succeed. You're very insightful, my sister. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And salute to you for your goals being met. Divine says, makes hella sense. Well, thank you. Hey, Derica. Good to see you, sis. I'm late to the show. It's all right. You can catch the replay at any time. Trez, what's going on? Sorry I'm late. I was busy with a bowl of hunt. Why do I read your comments? You know you can catch the replay too at any time. All right, so the last thing that I want to say before we finish up tonight, let me see what Amanda just said. Thanks for the perspective adjustment. Anytime, Amanda. So the last thing that I want to say before we finish up tonight, I want to leave you with this. I want you to, if you didn't do it this year, I want you to let next year be the year that you stay balanced. Here's what I mean. You can very easily be caught up in the stuff that you see on social media over and over. And it's designed to be that way. We have to be protective of what we listen to and what we watch and what we read, because it's all designed to program us in some way, either positively or negatively. So we just have to be aware. So with that being said, a lot of times, especially in this self-love era, we can hear so much talk of self-love that we don't understand that we're walking into selfishness. We don't understand that constantly talking about, I need to protect my energy, constantly talking about, I need to leave whatever doesn't serve me. I think we have to remember that not everyone critically thinks. That's not a put down. I'm just talking about the fact that people have different strengths and different weaknesses. And some people do not have the ability to critically think. So they'll take a statement like that and they'll make it a blanket general statement for everything. And that doesn't work. So please remember to be in a place of balance. Don't be so focused on, like my sister said, I've learned to be my own best friend. That's a beautiful statement. She has the ability to critically think. Some people take that too far and they act like they don't need anybody. And that's not true. I don't care what you show me or say to me or try to prove to me. If we weren't needed, all of us would have been born by ourselves in different parts of the world without. We are connected for a reason. Now, yeah, there are some people that you got to disconnect from. Some people isn't everybody, though. So stay in a place of balance. Learn how to self-reflect as much as you point the finger. Learn how to be honest with your own emotions, your own triggers, and the things that you know you need to work on, just like you seem to have 2020 with everybody else's mistakes. Learn how to learn the difference between self-care and selfishness. Like we see people who say no is a complete answer. No is a complete answer. But look at the situation. Yeah, there are some people where you just need to say no, and that's it. But please understand that there are going to be situations where you do need to explain because that person needs that explanation. Not because you need to explain yourself, but because that person needs an explanation. You will know that situation when it arises. Understand the difference between I want to walk away from what no longer serves me. Know that there's a difference between doing that and you just leaving because you didn't get your way. Understand the difference between fighting for someone and understanding that you're the only one in the damn ring. Understand the difference between, y'all see where I'm going. I could do this all night. I'm not though. Just learn to be balanced. Understand that the information that we get, whether it be in a book or even from a coach or a therapist, understand that that information will only serve you to the extent that you are willing to critically think, learn to critically think, and judge how to use it on a case-by-case basis. Let me see what other comments we have. What's up, Tanya? Good to see you. Stay balanced. Yes. Hey, Anisha. Good to see you, sis. Divine said, yes, I ended this year working on balance and patience. That's what I'm talking about. I love this space. Thank you. I appreciate that. Derica says, Allison has been a jewel for me for the past 3+ years. You know, I appreciate you too, sis. Trez says, I made small goals and over time conditioned myself to see a bigger plan and not be overwhelmed. This is good. Consistency shows determination, which is a reflection of perseverance. Man, y'all need to make some t-shirts. Are y'all writing this down? Consistency shows determination, which is a reflection of perseverance. That's what I'm talking about. Divine says, yes, be open to receive love and support. Dropping gems as always. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. A shift in perspective opens you up a lot. And hi. All right. So to those of you who were able to catch me from the beginning, know that you were truly, truly, truly appreciated. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen tonight. To those of you who caught me at the end, don't worry about it. You know you can catch the replay. As always, I appreciate you guys so very much. Thank you for making 2020 much more bearable for me. You had multiple things that you could have done sitting at home all this year. And for all of you who still chose to hit the play button or to click on my face when you saw that I was live, please know that that meant a lot. I never take that lightly because I know that you could always be doing other things. And I appreciate the time that you choose to give me and my platform. We would like for you to stay connected to us. Don't forget that you can reach me right here on Facebook under Allison Denise and our official page. I am Allison Denise. You can find me on Instagram under I am Allison Denise. Please feel free to go over there. You can find me under I am Allison Denise on YouTube and the Allison Denise Podcast. We truly appreciate the time that you've taken to watch. For those of you who ask, donations are still being taken. You can go to my Cash App, and I'll go ahead and put that up here too so that you can see it while I talk. Cash App, you can still go to I am Allison Denise. Those of you who have been following me for a while, that was the first one we had. We do have a business one now under Allison Denise LLC. It doesn't matter which one you use. The ones that you send to my old account, I just go ahead and deposit into the business one. You can also use PayPal, Allison@AllisonDenise.com. If you prefer to use Zelle or Venmo, please reach out to me, inbox me, and I'll be sure to give you that information so that you can send the money that way. And for any coaching, I do have my coaching set up electronically. You can go ahead and make your schedule. You can also make your payment, have everything taken care of. And you can go there by getting to our official page, our official site, AllisonDenise.com. Click on Book Allison. Go ahead and find the time that you want to meet with me. Of course, everything is virtual right now, but the good part of that is it doesn't matter what part of the country you're in, we can do this, okay? So if you don't see anything in terms of a schedule that works for you, just email or inbox me and I'll work it out, okay? Let me look at these last comments. What's up, Lonnie? Hold up, I came late, but you cute. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. And John, thank you so much for tuning in. Some of us interrupt practicing to catch your show. Man, y'all got a sister feeling good over here. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, y'all, I love you. Please, whatever it is that you do tomorrow night, please be safe. Please be wise. Please do whatever you can to make sure that you make it to 2021, as well as those that you love and those you don't know, because they deserve to live the rest of their lives out too, okay? I love you guys. Please be safe. Happy New Year. And let's get this thing started because We're going to cross over. And when we cross over, we're going to cross over into better. We're going to cross over into excitement. And we can do this. We can do this. I don't care how long this pandemic is here. In spite of it, we can do this and we will win. Okay? Gratitude to you. What does your sweatshirt say? Oh, my sweatshirt says, I think it's backwards up here. Oh, no, it's not. Believe you can. That's what my sweatshirt says. And peace and blessings to you too, John. I think that's the best way to end it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Y'all have an awesome night. Please take care. The comments still keep coming in. Happy New Year. I claim it all. We getting everything. Everything. All right, y'all. I'm gone. Love you. Peace.